All right, folks, welcome to Chapter 10, Context of Development. So today we're not going to look at a particular age group or period of development or even a domain, but we're going to look at the context of development for children in general. So what contexts are they growing up in terms of family, childcare, and media, etc.? And how do the variations in these contexts affect their development? So our first stop today is going to be the family context, and this will be a large bulk of the day. It's going to be split into a few sections, but we're going to start with the context that is arguably one of the most direct and influential, the family context. Family is the first influence on a child, and it remains one of the most significant. So where we will start is by talking about basic family structures. So these are some terms you may have heard of before, but starting with nuclear family structure. So nuclear family is when the parents and the immediate offspring are living together. This is especially predominant in the US, but the proportion of extended families is steadily increasing, especially in the US, which leads us to our next one, extended family structure. So this is the parents, their offspring, and other relatives living together, like grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever it may be. So extended family structures are more common when one, families are experiencing economic stress. This structure rose dramatically during the Great Recession in the mid 2000s. And two, cultural traditions and values. When cultural traditions and values are consistent with extended family living arrangements, we'll see more of it, particularly more of those collectivistic cultures compared to individualistic. So that is setting the stage just for some basic family structures and little buzz terms that'll come up throughout the day. Parenting practices. So parenting goals. There is said to be three major goals shared by all parents. One being survival. So this goal is to ensure that their children survive. It's as simple as that. This is accomplished by providing for their health and safety. Like the image here, putting on a helmet on a small child would be one example here, just ensuring their health and safety. Second goal is the economic goal. So this is to ensure that children acquire skills needed to be economically productive adults. This is typically another goal that is shared by parents. And lastly, the cultural goal. So this is to ensure that children acquire the basic cultural values of the group. So those are three universal parenting goals. But with that being said, there is a lot of variation between parenting, as you may have guessed and may have experienced yourself. So these are the more universal goals at the heart of parenting styles, but there's going to be a lot of differences in parenting practices based on culture and a number of other factors. So we're going to get started by talking about parenting practices. And then in the next video, we'll go into the parenting styles, specific types. But in terms of parenting practices as a whole, there are three dimensions of parenting practices. So obviously practices will vary widely, but they can be analyzed in terms of these three key dimensions you see here in yellow. One being emotional warmth. This is the expressions of caring and acceptance toward the child. Number two, behavioral control. So this is the efforts to monitor and control a child's behavior. So is there high efforts to do so or low efforts to do so? And then autonomy support is our last one. This is the extent of supporting and respecting children's feelings and perspectives. So we see these three practices, these three dimensions of parenting practices within their actual practices themselves, and they will vary in different ways. So we will stop here. And in the next video, we'll start to talk about Baumrimm's framework of parenting styles. But that was just setting the stage for today, just talking about the basic family structures and parenting practices as a whole. We'll get into some specific examples next. So that's where we're headed. And thank you for joining, everyone. I'll see you there.